Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Beyond the Gates channel. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and hit like for more daily drama updates and spoilers. Your support truly means a lot and helps our channel grow every day. Now, let's jump straight into today's exciting update. The week of July 20th through July 24th, 2026 promises to shake the foundations of Beyond the Gates with devastating secrets, dangerous alliances, emotional reckonings, and life-changing revelations that threaten to alter the futures of everyone caught in the storm. As July Sweeps comes to a dramatic close, the tension surrounding Dani Dupree reaches an entirely new level when someone corners her with a chilling claim they know her biggest secret. But are they telling the truth, or are they bluffing in an attempt to force her hand? At the same time, Izaiah Hawthorne finds himself completely blindsided by someone he never expected would leave him stunned. While familiar faces return, new dangers emerge, and hidden agendas begin weaving together into a week filled with suspense. Heather Armstrong makes an unexpected comeback, Deanna McBride slips even deeper into uncertain territory, and Grayson Perez may soon find himself standing closer to danger than he ever imagined. Every conversation carries hidden meaning, every relationship faces another test, and every secret threatens to explode before the week is over. The story begins on Monday, July 20th, the final day of July Sweeps, with Tomas Navarro quietly opening up about the frustrations weighing heavily on his heart. Instead of bottling up his emotions, Tomas turns to Grayson Perez, sharing the relationship struggles that continue to haunt him. Catherine Cat Richardson had recently urged Thomas to build genuine friendships with other men instead of constantly relying on Eva Thomas Richardson whenever life became difficult, and her advice suddenly seems wiser than ever. Thomas has been leaning on Eva every time his relationship becomes complicated, but perhaps Grayson can offer the kind of perspective only another friend can provide. Ironically, Grayson may need that friendship just as much. His troubled criminal past still follows him like a shadow, and having someone like Thomas, a respected lawyer, within his circle could prove invaluable as both men quietly search for stability amid increasingly complicated lives. Meanwhile, another emotionally charged reunion unfolds as Bill Hamilton arrives at Dani Dupree's home almost immediately after receiving Haley's angry phone call. Haley had complained bitterly about her latest confrontation with Dani, including the heated arguments surrounding Bill and the deeply personal subject of their intimate history. Despite having only recently been released from the hospital, Bill wastes no time rushing across town to confront Dani, making it clear that neither his health problems nor his exhaustion can keep him away from her. Picking up exactly where their previous encounter left off, Bill reminds Dani that he protected their secret by keeping quiet about what happened between them in the elevator. If he could keep that hidden, he insists, then any future encounters would remain safely buried as well. Dani desperately tries to shut the door on temptation, firmly insisting that what happened can never happen again, but Bill simply smiles with quiet confidence and warns her never to say never. His words linger in the air long after the conversation ends, suggesting that their dangerous chemistry is far from extinguished and that another forbidden encounter may simply be a matter of time. Elsewhere, Ted Richardson's growing romance with Shanice Johnson reaches an emotional turning point that feels both hopeful and fragile. Just days earlier, Ted finally confessed that he was falling in love with her, exposing feelings he could no longer keep hidden. Now that heartfelt confession continues to echo between them as Shanice wrestles with the walls she has carefully built around her own heart. Encouraged by the wise counsel of her aunt, Monica McCormick, Shanice begins allowing herself to believe that perhaps she deserves happiness after all. Monica urged her not to let fear prevent her from embracing genuine love, and those words seemed to give Shanice the courage to finally meet Ted's vulnerability with honesty of her own. Yet even as their relationship blossoms into something deeper and more meaningful, another storm quietly gathers in the distance. Dana Leslie, Thomas will almost certainly be devastated once she discovers that Ted has truly fallen in love with another woman, and when that discovery finally comes, the consequences may reach far beyond simple heartbreak. At the same time, Nicole Dupree Richardson sits down with Kat Richardson for an honest discussion about relationships and the complicated realities they sometimes demand. Nicole had recently been shocked to learn from Vernon and Anita Dupree that Kat had purchased a condominium with plans for Thomas to move in despite his painfully awkward and disastrous proposal in front of the entire family. What might have seemed like a romantic new beginning instead feels almost like a compromise, a consolation prize after expectations collapsed so publicly. During their conversation, Kat may finally reveal the insecurity Thomas continues struggling with behind closed doors. Although he deeply loves her, Tomas cannot ignore the enormous financial difference between them, and that imbalance leaves him wrestling with uncomfortable feelings of inadequacy. The fear of becoming little more than a kept man weighs heavily on his pride, creating emotional distance that neither wealth nor affection alone can easily erase. As the calendar turns to Tuesday, July 21st, attention shifts toward Izaiah Hawthorne, whose difficult journey home continues forcing him to confront painful family dynamics that have haunted him for years. Ever since returning to the DMV, Izaiah has remained painfully aware that he was always viewed as the family's black sheep, while his brother Jacob Hawthorne stood proudly as the golden child. Through every mistake, every attempt at redemption, and every difficult transformation from reckless troublemaker into a responsible adult, Joey Armstrong remained one of the very few people who never stopped believing in him. That unwavering support gave Izaiah strength when his own family often seemed unable or unwilling to see the man he had become. He has repeatedly challenged his mother, Darlene Hawthorne, whenever she unfairly judged Ava or relentlessly criticized her because of Leslie's actions. Although Darlene's hatred for Leslie remains understandable, she has slowly begun making a sincere effort to accept Eva despite the painful history surrounding her. Just as Izaiah begins believing his fractured family relationships might finally be healing, his father, Elon Hawthorne, unexpectedly blindsides him with something he never saw coming. Elon appears determined to rebuild the broken relationship with his son, making what seems to be a heartfelt effort toward reconciliation. Whether those efforts come entirely from his own heart or are gently encouraged by Darlene remains uncertain, but the sincerity behind his actions cannot easily be dismissed. Eva will almost certainly encourage Izaiah to remain open-minded, recognizing how desperately both father and son need healing after years of emotional distance. While continuing her own recovery, Eva also receives important guidance from Kyle, perhaps during one of her physical therapy sessions or an unexpected meeting at the hospital where she still requires regular follow-up care. Even the smallest conversation carries enormous significance for someone still rebuilding both physically and emotionally after everything she has endured. Far more devastating news strikes Vernon and Anita Dupree as Anita learns the heartbreaking truth about the BRCA gene mutation that has haunted her family. What began as her own painful burden has now been confirmed to have passed not only to Dani, but also to Naomi Hamilton Hawthorne. Anita had kept this devastating secret hidden while Jacob was working undercover, hoping to shield her loved ones from additional emotional pain, but Naomi has finally chosen to reveal the truth. Now Anita must watch another generation face impossible decisions about their future. Naomi is seriously considering preventive surgeries, including a double mastectomy and hysterectomy, to dramatically reduce her chances of developing cancer. Jacob lovingly assures his wife that he is completely at peace with sacrificing the possibility of having biological children if it means keeping her alive and healthy. As Anita struggles beneath the crushing weight of guilt, grief, and maternal fear, she may also discover that her own painful experiences can offer Naomi comfort, wisdom, and the strength needed to make one of the hardest decisions of her life. Elsewhere, Vanessa McBride receives an update from Nicole regarding the increasingly complicated state of her love life. Nicole has continued seeing both Carlton Fitzgerald and Kyle, and even she seems uncertain about where her heart truly belongs. One day, her feelings appear to lean toward one man, only to shift toward the other before long. As romantic confusion clouds her judgment, Nicole also uncovers surprising information about Ted, and there is every possibility that it involves the growing seriousness of his relationship with Shanice. Every revelation seems to ripple through multiple families at once, proving once again that no relationship exists in isolation inside Fairmont Crest. By Wednesday, July 22nd, another mysterious storyline begins unfolding as Deanna McBride unexpectedly encounters a handsome stranger who desperately needs help. Whether this meeting happens by pure coincidence or has been carefully orchestrated remains an open question. Joey Armstrong has never fully trusted Vanessa's daughter, and Randy Parker has quietly been keeping a close eye on Deanna's every move. That raises the unsettling possibility that someone may be testing her without her knowledge. Adding to the growing concern is Deanna's increasingly disturbing habit of spending time with the ghost of her deceased father, Doug McBride. She openly hugs him, speaks with him, and behaves as though he were physically standing beside her, even in public places where anyone could witness these unsettling interactions. It becomes increasingly difficult to imagine that no one would notice such behavior or question whether she desperately needs psychological help before her fragile emotional state deteriorates even further. Nicole and Shanice also share an unusually honest conversation centered around Ted. With no reason to hide the truth, Shanice may openly reveal that she and Ted have fully committed to one another and are now exchanging heartfelt declarations of love. At the same time, Naomi is caught off guard by Bill Hamilton's emotional reaction after learning about her BRCA diagnosis. His concern may reveal how deeply he fears losing his daughter, making him strongly supportive of whatever preventive surgeries offer her the greatest chance of survival. Dani then visits Vernon and Anita, only to find herself confronted by an unexpected question from her mother. Anita gently asks whether Dani has something she wishes to tell them, creating an agonizing moment of uncertainty. For one terrifying instant, it almost feels as though Dani might confess everything about her secret encounter with Bill. Whatever request Dani ultimately makes, however, Anita refuses it, leaving Dani emotionally shaken. Meanwhile, Haley crosses paths with Randy and casually reminds him that she already did him a favor involving Lynette Wise, raising alarming suspicions that Haley may have played a role in Lynette's disappearance. As if that were not chilling enough, Haley coldly declares that the next time Bill suffers one of his medical episodes, she intends to make sure he meets the coroner instead of another doctor. The horrifying statement exposes just how dark Haley's intentions may truly be. The suspense only intensifies on Thursday, July 23rd, when Anita presents Laura Peterson with a meaningful gift whose significance may reach far beyond the moment itself. Vernon also sits down with Bill, offering firm advice to the stubborn attorney, likely urging him to take his declining health far more seriously before it is too late. Haley's disturbing conversation with Randy continues as she warns him to keep his distance from Mona Wilson, whose efforts to guide Randy toward faith and personal redemption clearly interfere with Haley's own dangerous agenda. Meanwhile, June uncovers information that could dramatically affect Naomi, perhaps after overhearing a revealing conversation or spotting Haley secretly meeting Randy during one of their frequent visits to Uptown. Bradley Smitty Smith also approaches Jacob seeking an important favor, one that may tie directly into his latest investigative journalism project and uncover truths that powerful people would rather keep buried. At the same time, Andre Richardson grows increasingly uneasy over a gift Dani receives, and suspicion immediately falls upon Bill, who may once again be trying to work his way back into Dani's heart despite every warning sign telling them both to stay apart. The week reaches another emotional crescendo on Friday, July 24th, as Eva joins Chelsea Hamilton's live stream promoting awareness about organ donation. Earlier, Kat had reluctantly agreed to let Chelsea collaborate with Ava while refusing to participate herself, but Kat's frustration has only continued growing. She bitterly complains that Eva has already won over Ted and Thomas and now appears to have charmed Chelsea as well. Yet Chelsea may finally challenge Kat's growing resentment, refusing to let bitterness overshadow a cause that could genuinely help others. Meanwhile, Vanessa comforts Dani during another emotionally difficult chapter, whether that comfort centers on Naomi's heartbreaking medical situation or Dani's increasingly dangerous involvement with Bill. Jacob is also left deeply unhappy after hearing unexpected words from his father, Elon, suggesting that father and son still have painful conflicts waiting to be resolved. Then comes one of the week's biggest surprises. Joey Armstrong is stunned when his sister, Heather Armstrong, unexpectedly returns to the DMV after being away. Her explanation is brief but deeply unsettling. Heather calmly tells Joey that she has returned to tie up loose ends, words that immediately raise frightening possibilities about what unfinished business she intends to settle. If Grayson Perez truly is one of those loose ends, his life may soon be hanging by a thread. At the same time, Nicole approaches Dani with a bombshell confession, quietly revealing that she already knows the truth. Those simple words send panic racing through Dani, who immediately fears Nicole has somehow uncovered her secret involvement with Bill. In reality, Nicole may be referring to something entirely different, but Dani's guilty conscience refuses to let her think clearly. Whether she finally chooses to confess everything remains uncertain, though she knows her sister would almost certainly condemn her choices after everything Ted's infidelity put their family through. As the week draws to a close, Bill Hamilton's health takes another frightening turn. Alone inside his office, he becomes increasingly disoriented, struggling to focus as confusion overtakes him. The once powerful attorney can barely understand what is happening to his own mind as fear slowly replaces confidence. Surrounded by unanswered questions, hidden betrayals, dangerous conspiracies, and emotional crossroads that could reshape countless lives, the final moments leave every storyline hanging on the edge of something explosive. The secrets are multiplying, trust is becoming increasingly fragile, and with each passing day, it feels as though no one inside Beyond the Gates will emerge from this emotional storm unchanged.